Right, this is important. I discovered something this week that has left me reeling, if I'm honest. I was working on another video, the last video, which I'll link to after this, where I'm talking about mortality and when we're going to die. All really uplifting stuff like that. And because I had all these numbers running around my head, I was in bed one night and I had these numbers going around. And I was trying to get to sleep and I couldn't. And then a number came to mind and I started to think about it further and further, and I thought, this number is controlling our lives. So what I'm going to do today is share with you what that number is, but I'm also going to show you how you should tame that number. The word that's going to come out of this for you is going to be the word pulse. This number is the pulse of your life. And I know that this video is going to be the most important video you watch this week unless you are in the middle of watching US Office reruns, because that show is fantastic. So if you're watching that, that's the best stuff you're watching this week. But other than that, this is the second best. Now, I've seen a chart like this many times before, and when you see it, it kind of pulls you up sharp, just shows you how short your life is. This example is someone who was born on the 1st of January 1970, and they have a long life of 90 years. But even then, doesn't look much, does it? I said that I did a load of data in the last video. You really do need to go and watch that if you've not seen that. Watch it after this one. I'll link to it. But there's data that I shared in there that I'm going to pull out again towards the end of this video, and that's going to make you go, oh my goodness, what is he doing to me? But then you'll feel uplifted because you think, I've got the power. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to take control of the pulse of my life. Good, isn't it? So looking at the data in the UK, and actually this data correlates very closely to what you'll find in the US, Australia, Canada and New Zealand as well, because I checked for you so you don't need to. In the UK, most of us die after the age of 75. So it's a bit of a coin toss on whether you're going to live after the age of 75 or whether you're going to die at the age of 74 or before. And do you know what your chances are in the UK of making it to the age of 90? By the way, echoed in those other nations. Well, for men, you got a 16% chance. And for women, you got a 34% chance of making it to 90, which I think is a little unfair. I'm going to contact my local MP. Why are women allowed to live longer? Doesn't seem right, does it? So what is this number that I speak about? What is this number that kept me awake at night? You're thinking, oh, it's one of those videos where he's not going to share the number till the end. I'm going to share it now, then you can get on with the rest of your day. You can stop watching this video. That number is 18. Thank you very much. If you've heard enough, you are free to go. Actually, I said it's a formula, 18 multiplied by 5. There you go. Now you can go. Now, what I'm going to share with you, those of you that have stuck around, is this isn't something I learned. It's not something I read on the internet. It's not something I've seen in a book. It's something I think I've discovered. And as such, I think this is going to be the first time you've ever heard this too. If it isn't, obviously let me know in the comments, but I think I've discovered something. I've discovered the pulse of life. Quick aside, a few months ago I made a video where I learned how to slow down time, which I think is something even Albert Einstein didn't achieve. And I made a video about it and it's had so few views, but I'm giving you a secret that no one else has ever come up with in that video, and people aren't even watching it. So they're probably not even watching this either. So the first phase of our pulse, I call playtime. We're all born. We know nothing, we have no responsibilities, and for the most part, everything's done for us. Our first 18 years on the planet is about playing and finding out who we are and how we tick. This is how we form. In fact, if you can remember who you were and how you felt at the age of 18, do you see a totally different person? Or do you just see yourself with all the same values, worries, strengths and weaknesses that you have now? Because for me, nothing much has changed. I've lost a lot of hair. A lot of hair's gone grey. this seems to have grown, but really everything else about me is much the same as I was when I was 18. I'd love to know how you feel. I really would, because this is a new discovery. You can be at the forefront of this in the comments. It could be us. This is ours. How do you feel when you look back at you at 18? Do you see it as a different person? Or do you see it as you? Please let me know in the comments. I'm seriously very interested to know. The next phase I call unleashed. I remember this phase really well. What I remember about this phase was, if I made one false move, my life is ruined forever. But really, in the next 18 years, this is where you're unleashed into the world. You reinvent yourself again and again, mistake after mistake, shaping you more and more. Maybe getting married or divorced, having kids, getting pets, getting your first home. All of these firsts, you're reinventing yourself all the time. And there's this phrase that goes around social media, I'm sure you've seen it, where people say adulting. You know, they'll put the washing, I don't know what it is, but they'll put the washing on or something and go, oh, today I've been doing some adulting. And that always used to really grate on me, adulting, until I came up with this discovery. So now I look at this phase and I get it. In the unleash phase, you're actually pretending to be an adult to a great extent. For me, in this phase, I made so many mistakes. I was a bloody mess a lot of the time. I shared that, I think, 2 videos ago. By all means, go back and just see what a screw up I was. Fortunately, it was also in this phase when I met Sarah, and that did change quite a bit for me and settle me down and get me moving in the right direction in life. So this is the next 18 years, from the age of 19 to the age of 36. And it's funny because people in my age group now, I'm 56. I think we look at people from the age of 19 to 36 and still think of them as kids, really. But I remember when I was 36, I felt very, very much an adult, too much of an adult, and I dreamed of being 18 again. So your first phase, you're forming. Your second phase, you're storming. You are grabbing life by the scruff of the neck and wringing as much out of it as you possibly can. It's a brilliant phase of life. I wish I could be back there now without all the screw-ups. The next phase is leverage. Leverage is where you take everything you learn in your first 2 phases into the third pulse of your life. These are your years to really capitalize and get serious. It's this phase where basically, in an ideal world, you have now got your shit together and you are going to maximize your earning potential and your creativity potential to really build up your pot of cash. And it's in this phase where people really start to take retirement seriously and start thinking about how they're going to fund their retirement. Ironically, if they took it seriously in the previous phase, things will be so much easier for them going forward. And as I say, this is the phase where you're earning the most money from the ages of 37 to 54. And if you look around you at people in that phase of life, those leveraged people, they often look a lot more serious. They look like they've got the weight of the world on their shoulders because they know, serious now, you're no longer a kid. You got to make things happen. You realise, I guess, at this phase, that if you don't take control, no one else is going to do it for you. And I know people in that phase, they look longingly back at the unleashed crowd, the kids at work who come up with a crazy idea and everyone says, oh, brilliant. But in this phase for us, when you're going from the ages of 37 to 54, your ideas have to be very well structured. Otherwise, people look at you like you're a bit crazy, as I recollect they used to do with me. But as I say, these are the earning years. These are the years you realise there is no safety net. If it is to be, it's up to you to do it. Now things get serious. Now things are a little bit sketchy for some of us. And these are the years I call the years to savour. And this is from the ages of 55 to 72. You put the work in. You did your forming in your first 18 years. You did your storming in your second 18 years. You did your leveraging and really made the money work for you in the next 18 years. And now you're not taken quite as seriously. I hear this from friends who are still working in that age group, and it's the young whippersnappers, I think is what we call them. The young whippersnappers who have got all the ideas. People in this age group, I call the savouring age group, they're the people who are seen a little bit dyed in the wool. a little bit slow to take on new technology and new ideas. They're the ones who are saying things like, yeah, we tried that before, it doesn't work. In my day, this is what we did. It's a tricky time to be alive in those years if you haven't really achieved what you really wanted to achieve at that point. Ageism is alive and well. I'm sure that all businesses do what they should do to ensure that age doesn't come into any equation when they're hiring. But you can be sure that if you're looking in your late 50s, early 60s, or even 70, and you're applying for a job, and there's someone in those earlier age groups who have the same skill set as you, chances are they're probably going to beat you to that job or that promotion. And for me, I knew I wanted to be out of the workforce by that age. I didn't want to be sticking around because I've always seen myself as a bit of a Peter Pan character, to be honest. I've always been down with the kids. I don't want to be the guy at work who the kids look at as an old fogey. I'm one of them. And I bet you feel exactly the same way, don't you? You see the youngsters, you're still a youngster. Although you're losing your hair, you're getting a paunch, you're still as fun as them. They just don't realise that. So for me, I knew I needed to get out. That's why I worked hard together with Sarah so that we could retire early. I retired at the age of 51, Sarah at the age of 49, so we could live our dream of world travel. That's what we do. That's what you'll see on this channel, To Go Rome, and on our sister channel, To Go Rome Travels. We sold everything we own to reinvent ourselves and get out into the world and travel. And we're loving every minute of it, to be honest. The last phase of this pulse of your life I call the examination phase. That's when you've got time. That's when you're sat there from the age of 73 to 90, that last 18 years, where you can take stock. You can think about those phases of your life and think, did I get the most from my childhood when my mum was saying to me, these are the best years of your life, get out there on your bike and play? Did I really enjoy it as much as I should have done? Or when I was in my forming years, did I make enough mistakes? Did I test stuff enough? Did I really risk? And then, did I really maximise my earning potential and make it work in the leverage years? And have I really savoured the fruits of all that labour? That's what you're doing in those examination years. I think what also you're doing in those years is you're thinking, have I been a good human? Have I been around? Has it been good for the world that I've been in it? That's something you'll only find out at that time, but at this point in your life, wherever you are now, you may be able to make changes to ensure that you are a good human. I try every day. I fail every day. That's part of life, isn't it? And just to note, I'll talk about this as the last phase, but this isn't the end. You can still be creative. This might be the time of life when you sit down and decide to write your memoirs, to put everything down on paper so that your family and the people that come behind you, those people in those other phases and pulses of life, can read something from someone as intelligent as you, because you are intelligent. I'm not saying that because you're watching this video. I'm not saying this video is intelligent. I'm not saying you're intelligent because you're watching me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're intelligent because you're seeking out this kind of stuff. You're the person who should be writing your memoirs so that the people that come after you can learn from your mistakes. And this is a phase you do it. In the phase of examination, really looking at the life that you had before you. And as I say, this is what I call the pulse of our lives. Now here's the scary thing, like the really scary thing. I don't want to leave you with fear, and I won't, but I've got to leave you with this. There's a lot of dots on that screen. Probably doesn't look as many dots as you thought there'd be, but each of those phases of life, there's 18 dots. And they go by so fleetingly, don't they? If you think of you at the age of 18 and then the age of 37, bang, where did those years go? And remember when I said earlier that the average life expectancy in the UK is 80, well, I guess that means we can drop those dots. We don't need those anymore. So things are not quite as good as they looked initially. And then remember, last week I spoke about the healthy life expectancy. If you didn't see that video, I really, really encourage you to go back there and watch it now. This is basically the years that you can almost guarantee that you will be healthy. After these years, most people, the majority of people, will be dealing with some kind of health issue or disability. So I guess we can remove all those extra dots too, because we won't be needing those. That's not when we're going to be healthy and getting the most out of life. And this is all pretty sobering, isn't it? And I want to know how learning this will change the years that you have left. And for me, this was really a discovery, honestly. In bed, waking up or laying there and thinking, oh my goodness, I think I've seen where I'm going wrong in life. I retired, as I say, 4 years ago at the age of 51. I'm 50, oh blimey, 5 years ago, I'm 56 now. And I'm thinking, I haven't got much time left. I've got to go out there. Even though we're traveling the world, living our dream, I want to squeeze as much out of this life as I possibly can. And I want you to do the same. Go out there. Take life by the scruff of the neck. Don't sleepwalk through it. I want you to have the best life you possibly can. I really hope this video has helped you look at life differently, to look at the phases and the pulses of life. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.